Hey guys, it's HarleyWood. All right, a couple videos back, I mentioned getting a brand new truck, and I asked you guys if you wanted to know some of the stuff that I had done to this, and I got a resounding yes in the comments. So this is my 2019 F250, and I have done a lot to this truck in just the few months that I've owned it. Probably more to this truck than I've done to any other vehicle. I'm not gonna go through deep dive, very, very minute details of everything that I've done to this. This is going to be a high-level overview of everything that I've done, some of the rationale behind it, and I'll also show you where to get some of this stuff based on my shopping experiences, where I found some of the lower prices, coupon codes, all that stuff. Let's get into it. All right, first and foremost, my babies and the high-ticket item on this truck, all right? These are the Method 605 NV wheels. They come in a couple different colors. I went in the black, and these are the Toyo Open Country MTs in 37 by 1350, all right? I get this question all the time. Did you have to trim in order? Did you get any rubbing? The answer is yes. There was a little bit of rubbing on this front bumper right here. I did have to remove about 1 inch of the bottom corner of the bumper, as well as about a solid inch of the wind valance on the bottom there. And these are the MTs. They are incredibly knobby tires, all right? They've got big pockets in them here to shed mud and stuff out of the tread. Are they noisy on the road? A little bit. I had the Nitto trail grapplers and I had the ridge grapplers on my previous truck. I would equate these more to the ridge grapplers. Honestly, they're not that much noisier. Are you gonna hear them over, a standard all-terrain tire or just a street tire? Yeah, of course, but it's a truck. You probably should, right? So you will get a little bit of street noise, not even an issue to me. And back inside here, you can see I do have the leveling kit on it. This is the ReadyLift 2.5-inch leveling kit on the front there, just to bring the front end up a little bit so it's not raked down versus the back. In this new COVID world we're in, I've actually been working from home for the past year. I haven't been driving that much, so I'm not terribly worried about it, but I did lose about 2 to 3 miles per gallon by putting these on, all right? I'm hovering around 14.2 if I don't tow, and if I do tow, I'm getting, depends on what I'm towing, but anywhere from 11 to 12 miles per gallon. And here's kind of a down the side shot. You can see those tires do stick out just a little bit, about, 3 or 4 inches. Makes it a little bit more difficult to keep clean, because yes, it does sling stuff up on the side of the truck quite frequently, but I love the stance. It was worth the trade-off for me. All right, I have a Magnaflow 5-inch DPF back kit. So if you're not familiar with a diesel, they have this big exhaust system underneath that basically recirculates your exhaust gas, reburns it, and prevents you from rolling coal. A lot of people do what they call diesel deletes, which is where they get rid of all that crap. It's illegal, so I am not doing that. I have no plans to do that next month. This is a 6-inch tip, and as I mentioned, 5-inch piping. Made absolutely zero difference in the sound of the vehicle. And it's because of all that DPF exhaust system stuff in there. Once I don't rip all that out, it might not sound better. And I know some of you are all about the tip. So there you can see basically the size of the tip here. All right, let's swing around to the backside here. This hitch is from Way Safe, all right? This is a 3-inch receiver. It's massive. The amount of towing this thing can do is quite impressive. You can see it's got an adjustable height here. So simply undo the barrel key lock here on the side. Pull this double pin out, and then you can raise and lower it and put it back in wherever you want it, all right? Now, on the back side of this also, if I take it off, you can see there's a pin back in here. If I pull this pin out, the ball is removable, all right? And I could put a 2 5/16 in there if I wanted to, or a 1 7/8. Now, the thing about the Way Safe system here is this little pressure dial that you see on the side here. There is basically a little pool of oil underneath this, and as it puts pressure down on a plate inside of here, it raises the dial to show you how many pounds of tongue weight that you have. All right, and I had a Bakflip G2 on my Tundra. This is the new Bakflip MX. I actually like this quite a bit. I did a bunch of research on all the other ones out there. I mean, seems like the same manufacturer might even be making some of these. They're quite similar, but I ended up going with a product that I pretty much already knew. And people are gonna ask, does it leak? Well, of course, they pretty much all do, unless you get a hard one that wraps, all the way over the sides. So yeah, I mean, a little bit of water can run down off the back of the tailgate here, but never really been a huge issue. And it does lock underneath here, but it is super easy to flip up. and get out of the way. And it can even sit up against the cab of the truck here. And then there are these bars on each side that you can lock in and keep it from folding back down on you. There's one of these on both sides. All right, and up against the bed of the truck, this is the BakBox. So this is a little toolbox with a sliding shelf on it here that just allows me to have some storage so everything's not kind of floating around in the bed of the truck, which I typically have my fair share of that also. But just a good way to store it. And I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to tear all this out, but this does also fold up flat and lay back against the back panel here and kind of stay out of the way. I like this as opposed to some others because I still have about a foot of clearance underneath it. So if you have to slide lumber or something like that under there, you do still have that space. All right, and in the back here, I do have these storage racks from BuiltRight. So these are aluminum panels that allow you to kind of attach all kind of modular stuff to it. You can see here that I have Rotopax attached here, but it allows it to attach real nicely, keeps it up out of the way and secure. There's one in the front, one in the back on both sides. And under the hood here is the S&B, this is the dry kit, all right? This truck sits up so high, it's hard to get, I don't have a tripod tall enough to do this, so I will roll in some shots here. Pretty simple kit. This one, however, does require you to relocate your battery. This truck has two batteries, one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. And this one gives you a new tray that places the battery behind the intake. Reason for that is the battery traditionally sits right here where you currently see the intake, and the air has to go in, down, under the battery, back up, and into the box, all right, into the filter box. This one puts the filter box right in the front, rams that air right in the same factory vent, gives you a little bit more power. And I think this was actually the first upgrade that I bought for this truck. It's the locker down console safe, all right? I had one in the Tundra, absolutely love it. It has a hinged reinforced steel plate here, locks off my entire console. So in the event I did have to go into a building, couldn't take my concealed carry with me for legal reasons, whatever reasons, I can lock it away in here and feel a little bit more secure. I did do a full review of this in my other truck. I'll post a link down in the description below to that review. All right, and this guy right here is kind of cool. It's a magnetic mount for my phone. All right, so there's a little plate on the back of my phone. That's a magnet, but you can see it comes out from behind the dash right here. So I'll post a link to this. It's Course Motorsports. There's a screw back there. I basically popped this off, loosened that screw, put this in there, pop this back on, and now I can mount my phone right there. All right, and I did put an aftermarket tune on this truck. This is the Lynk Auto Agent 2. It's incredibly easy. It plugs into your OBD2 port down here, and you have to buy the profiles, the ECU profiles, and you can reflash the truck. Purchased this through Voodoo Diesel. Not necessarily recommending them, okay? I paid for it. This is not, a promo thing. I asked for emission compliant tunes, and I got 3 of them, all right? One added, I think, 50 foot-pounds of torque and some horsepower. One added 100 foot-pounds of torque and a little bit less horsepower, and one added almost 200 foot-pounds of torque. So on level 3, this thing's putting out almost 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. It's an absolute monster. I would have probably preferred, and I can still do it later, but I would recommend that you don't do this unless you plan to delete the diesel, all right? I feel like that's probably where you see the biggest bang for your buck, okay? You can get immense power gains, a lot better fuel efficiency if you delete the diesel and put a non-emission compliant tune on it. It's illegal, so do not do it, all right? I have no plans to do it, but if you want to go this route, it is certainly an option. The only thing I don't like about this, and maybe it's because of the tunes that I got, they feel more to me like towing tunes, and my power band, the torque curve is really high. I have to get the throttle up to about 35–40% throttle before it really kicks in. That turbo spools up and I get that power. I was able to solve that another way. I'll go into it in a minute, but I didn't like that about the tunes that I have on here. All right, so just be aware. I felt like I had a little bit more throttle response stock than I do with this. Let me show you how I solved it. All right, with this guy here, this is the pedal commander, and this thing is insane. I love it. Let me zoom in here. All right, so this basically connects, there's a plug on the top of your pedal. So there's my pedal. And if I pan up here, this is the plug that comes from my truck. So this piece right here used to be plugged in right there. And all I did was put this in line, and it basically amplifies the throttle position sensor and gives you way more power at the lower throttle positions. And then within here, there's an eco mode, a city mode, a sport mode, and a sport plus mode. Inside of each of those, there are 4 positions. So you have +1, +2, +3, and +4, and then -1, -2, -3, and -4. So there's over 30 positions to control how your throttle responds. All right, and when I first installed that thing, I took my stepmom on a ride. We were going to look, she's having a new house built. We had to go do some stuff with that. And she was in the passenger seat here, and we got about halfway there, and she turned to me, she goes, "Why are you driving so aggressively?" And I told her, I said, "I just put this thing in. This is the first setting that I've had it on, but literally with maybe 5 to 10% position on the throttle, it was a game changer. It was totally different. It's a lot of fun. It's about $300. I highly recommend it. Now, currently I drive it in the Eco -1 mode. All right. So I went from Sport +1 to Eco -1, and I still have a very appreciable throttle response difference over the tune that I have on this truck. It makes a huge difference, and it literally takes about 10 seconds to install. And you can also control it with the app. So if I go into the app here, it'll connect via Bluetooth. All right, you'll see I'm on City +2. I can easily change it to Sport. You'll see this change to Sport, and then it's not on minus, plus, anything. If I hit plus, it'll change it, and now it's +1. There's +2. You can see it changing here. So all of your settings are also available on the fly via your phone. All right, if you've been watching my channel, you've probably already seen this. If I take the cover off, this is my GreyMan vehicle rack. All right, so it mounts on the back of the seat here. I have that cover over it when it's not really in use or I don't need to get to it. Obviously, there's no rifle mounted in here right now, but I can if I so choose so. And I will post a link in the description below to my full review of that. And I do have some other stuff planned. Right now, I'm looking at a 5-inch lift to put on this thing. You know, I don't know much about lifts. If any of you guys do 4-link versus radius arm, I'm looking at some of those differences right now. I see some that don't include aftermarket radius arms or links, and it literally just looks like a spring lift. I don't know. I'm still doing my research there. If you guys have any thoughts on that, put it down in the comments below. Right now, I'm leaning towards an Icon Stage 1. I think it's 4.5-inch or 5-inch lift. Either that or the BDS 4-inch, and it does have replacement radius arms. I don't know. We'll see. More to come on that. So if you guys have any questions, anything I covered too quickly, hit me up in the comments below. I'll try to respond to everything. That's it. That is the 2019 F250, how it currently stands. Do have some more stuff planned. We'll see how that goes through the rest of this year, but that's it. Thank you for watching, guys. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, give it a like. Lots more videos to come, and I'll see you in the next one.